Hello everyone and welcome to the Torben Reiner workshop. Today I just want to do a little video on stiffening paper capeline. This capeline here is made of paper, of course, and the reason I want to use this over a straw or such is because it's white and it's actual white. And so the stiffener I want to use on this is a PVA. The one I use is this one here. It's a Helmer acid-free PVA glue. We sell it at Torben Reiner online, and because it's water-based, it can be shipped anywhere in the world. And the way we use this is I put some in a bowl like this and mix it up with water. And the mixture is around about 50-50 if you want. So however much PVA you use, put the same amount of water. And I want to mix it up. I only sort of do a little bit at a time. You can sort of keep it in the fridge, but you're better off just to mix it up as it is. Now you can get a paintbrush and paint this on, but the easiest way is to just dunk the whole capeline in the mixture. And I tend to just mix up enough that's going to do for my project. If I'm doing a couple at a time, then I might mix up more and stiffen them all at once. But the paper will absorb all this stiffener, and you'll get this wet capeline. And then what I can do is, while it's still wet like this, with the PVA, this has probably got a little bit much on it, so I'm just going to wring it out like that. And now what I can do is take my wet capeline and go ahead and block it. This way you don't need to add any more water. You can just block the whole thing and then put it out to dry. And so that's how I would use the PVA stiffener. You can use the same thing on lace and lots of other things. The disadvantage of using PVA is over time it can droop, so it's not perfect, but it's a good alternative if you don't want to use the other chemical stiffeners, or if you can't get the other chemical stiffeners. So there you go, enjoy. Hi and welcome back to the Torben Reiner workshop. I'm just going to block this paper straw, and I've just stiffened it with some PVA stiffener, and I want to block it onto this block here. So I've covered my block, of course, like we always do, and what I want to do is just pull down on this like so. As you can see, it blocks pretty easy to this shape. It's not a complicated shape. This is a nice round block, so it's pretty easy to do. So I'm just using my hands here now and smoothing out that top. I want it nice and crisp with no bubbles. Now the reason I'm using this paper capeline is because I want this hat to be white, and there aren't many materials that you can use in millinery that are actually white. Cinema gets pretty close, but things like straw will never be actually white. We've sold white capelines in the past, white parasisals, but they're not actually white, they're just pretty close. And so if you need something that's white, then you really need to go for something that's made of paper, or a Rochello or something like that, that's not a naturally grown fibre. So now that I've got this mostly in shape, I'm going to get my blocking pins and my pinball. It's fallen on the floor. and I'm just going to stretch it a little bit. Don't be too harsh with it because you can tear it like anything. And I'm just going to put those pins in and leave this to dry. Now, these blocking pins are steel, so you need to dry this as fast as possible. You might have noticed sometimes when you're using blocking pins that you can get some rusty marks on your work, and that'll definitely show up when you're using the white, and especially when you're using PVA as a stiffener. So the way to combat that is to make sure you dry this as quick as you can, and when you do dry it, take the pins out as soon as it's dry. If you leave them in there, even when it's dry, it will begin to rust, and you don't want that on your work, especially on your lovely white capeline. So I'll just about finish this. Now I'm going to trim this off and block the brim, but now I'm just going to trim that and put it out to dry. Thanks for watching.